to join tonight. Hi everyone, MJ here. This is Taiwan Live TV. We're on in a different location. Pretty cool here. Oops, got a mosquito. Now you know the ongoing saga over at Win-Win's and you know the barbecue boss and his wife that do the place next door, which I have been using mostly for live streaming over the last, I'm going to say 2 years anyway, and ever since he came in there, especially because he's been very friendly towards me, he invited me to come and play my guitar, and you know, and he loves the live streaming, and he even watches the live streams. But let me show you, excuse me, tonight coming down here, because the local time now is 22:32, so it's 32 minutes after 10 p.m. When I came down here tonight, I looked at, of course, the old place, and it looks like this. It's gutted. If you look over to the right, that's the... Hey, Dave, how you doing? Welcome on Periscope. Yeah, the waning days of Periscope. Oh, boy. Hey, is Bruce Lee? And I didn't see Bruce Lee make a comment. Hey, Bruce Lee, how you doing, man? Sorry I missed your comment. And so... you see the sign there and everything? Hey, there's Bruce Lee. How you doing, bro? Fist bump to both you guys. They see the sign off to the side, right? You know, like this. Let me just go ahead and do this guy here. See, this over here was, you know, this is the sign where we have the, you know, of course, the menu, and like right in front here. Okay, right in front. This spot in here. This is where the I mean, I got to go back to this again. Hoodoos, how you doing? My goodness, good to see you. This was where the why isn't, I don't know why, but sometimes this does this. I got to go like this, I guess. This right in here was where the gosh, I can't get it to work now. Hello. Anyway, I can trash this. Now over here was where the table goodness. This happened to me the other day, remember that? And then all of a sudden it started working again. Anyway, okay, so this over here is where the ice box used to be, and over here was where the, nope, and over, I guess every time I guess I have to go back like this every time. Now the old table was over here. Anyway, over to the far left. Hooters, how you doing? Fist bump to you. Gosh, sorry, I'm having a hard time with this drawing. You know, at least it works, but like you know, Periscope that still doesn't have it for Android. Over here in this area is where the table was. Forget it. Over the far left, where that plant is, that is the wall where the table used to be that I would sit at. And if you look, Andreas, nice to have you with us. Good evening. If you look straight ahead, you can see where they took the tree out. But see that door there, though? If we look through the middle of the door and we go inside, the place is gutted. They took the bar out. And what's really noteworthy is that inside they have these bundles of insulation and studs. So it looks to me like they're getting ready to build some soundproof rooms, which is of interest to me because I want to do some soundproofing in my studio. And so, yeah, now I got the hookup, you know, for that. So, anyway, so here's the boss over here. And,
hi, hi.
So, 这个是你的新的地方啊。
对，是。
你开始
还没弄好。
你开始几时？220
啊？
星期二。
应该是，但可能也会 delay。 因为那个水还没有打通。
Okay, so what he's saying is that the water stuff's not hooked up yet, but there might be a delay. It's funny how you use the term delay in English, but he said that should be on Tuesday. So, hi everybody, fist bump to all you guys that I missed while I was, you know, showing the art of vision. Now we're drinking some beer tonight. He's not home, so I can't get any stuff here. But I want you to see how cool this is. That's the, you know, the ice box up front, and then he's got the counter over there. So it's kind of like it used to be. You know, very close. I just want to make sure that's in focus. That's the grill on the right, and directly behind the boss lady is the deep fryer. And what they're going to do is, you see that big tube up there, right? They're going to connect that up to there. That's their exhaust fan. They got a big roll-down door. It's really nice and secure. A little complex in here. He's actually got a room that I'm thinking about using, maybe for some studio stuff. It's a pretty nice room. Have to do some soundproofing. So we're looking at a couple of different things. But he's got a pretty nice little setup in here. There's a full-size restroom in here. This is big enough for several tables. It's quite big. You see behind me the icebox. There's another icebox over there. And one thing that I didn't show you, go back on the front, is back on the front. Over here, they're going to do breakfast, and this is going to be like a Vietnam style. Come on, focus. This is going to be a Vietnam style breakfast, and so they got to hook up the water and stuff like the sinks and everything. They got to hook that up. So, but yeah, it's coming along. I just wasn't expecting that he would be out of there tonight. I thought he was going to start moving tomorrow. I thought it would be open tonight, but he's not, because it's Sunday night. So it kind of makes sense. But we're walking in the mall today, and I wanted to show you something. There's a lot of stuff in Taiwan that's very, very similar to Japan. And a lot of things that we have here in Taiwan are from Japan. And so, I've got an 8-year-old daughter, and she likes these little books and things. And there's a book series that they have in Japan that if you haven't seen it before, you have got to see this. I am not kidding. This is a book series that they call Butt Detective. And the detective is a butt. And if you think I'm kidding, you can't make this stuff up. He's a butt. Okay? And sometimes he'll do stuff like yeah, exactly. And sometimes, how people will go like, oh, poo, like that. Well, he literally does. He literally like farts as an exclamation. I know. I mean, seriously, let me blow some of these up. I mean, there's a whole series of them, okay? I mean, here he is, with, and he's on a little radio there. And he's got some kind of a hat on, and let me see, because he says police. He's the detective. He works for the police. He's on the police radio, okay? And so yeah, I mean, so what does butt detectives like squelch tail sound like on a radio? When they go like testing 1 2 3. So butt detectives like, hello, this is butt detective. Butt detective over. Yeah, it is. It's very silly. It's hilarious. But Phoenix absolutely loves this stuff. She's got like 6 or 7 of these butt detective books. And I looked at them, and they're very, very clever. And as weird as it sounds like, to have a butt for a person, the life lessons, because all these books, they're for children. They have to have some kind of life lessons. The life lessons are actually, they're up there. They're, they're pretty upstanding. But it's just like, so of course, I can't help it. Every time I see Phoenix reading Butt Detective, I have to make jokes and stuff like that. It's like, so what times do you get up? At the crack of dawn and stuff like that. So there is a phrase, a saying that we say in Chinese, pila, and it comes like from like the fon pi, which is the word for fart. We kind of just are going like that. And they have, now the other thing too is almost all of these little books and magazines are actual live animation cartoons, and there is a Butt Detective cartoon. And I have seen the Butt Detective cartoon, and I've seen him go literally like, and just break wind, and it is just, I mean, all you can do is just who thinks this stuff up? And I gotta tell you, it's quite brilliant because they're making a lot of money. It is. So good to see you, T. And you too, Bruce. Li Xiaolong. Haven't seen you for a long time. How you doing, man? So Periscope's almost dead. You guys are on Periscope. This could be like, you know, we're winding down. I'm not going to do a big finale last day on Periscope and stuff because, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I'm going to notice that it's gone. If YouTube went away, that'd be a whole different story. But yeah, we've had plenty of warning. I am looking at downloading my previous scopes. Now here's the thing. Now that Periscope is gone, I think it's okay to go ahead and, you know, put all my live streams on YouTube because they forbid me from doing that before. So, okay, well, you can do whatever you want, okay, as long as it's, you know, working. So how's the signal report? I'm just inside a little bit, and you know, it seems like on this block we have better mobile Wi-Fi than we did on the other block. Let me show you something today because we're walking around, and we came across this cool building. See, we're in Hsinchu City, and I talked about this before, and every time I come across this, it still impresses me the traditional Japanese influence that's all over Taiwan, because Taiwan, as you know, was part of Japan from 1895 to 1945 for exactly 50 years. And it wasn't an occupation, it was a colonization. Of course, they fought the Qing and won, but it doesn't matter. It wasn't an occupation. It wasn't a military occupation. They developed the island. And to this day, the railroad infrastructure and the communications infrastructure is based on Japanese technology. And Japan has a 100-volt power grid, and Taiwan has a 115-volt power grid that's similar to the United States. In fact, if you visit Taiwan, all of your United States appliances will run here. I do too. And Andreas, you know, Andreas is a master craftsman, and he really appreciates this woodwork, and he knows this woodwork, this kind of woodwork. So, yeah, it is. Well, this is where, see, that's the thing. This is where this has been all this time. And the rest of the town sprung up around it. There's probably nothing here. See, this is part of, we think, my wife is looking at it today. Obviously, my wife speaks Chinese better than I, reads Chinese better than I. But what it is, this has been designated as a historical site, and it's recently been restored. It has security cameras on it, and it has modern siding, but it does represent the old style tiling and the old style slatted siding, right? But we think it's part of the old railroad infrastructure. This is very, very close to the Hsinchu main station area, and the Hsinchu main station is Japanese. It was designed by a Japanese designer. He also designed a station, a sister station, I forget where it is in Japan, but he also designed a third one that's in the Netherlands. And it was always my dream to get Dave, Casper, and I to do a series of scopes where I would show the one in Hsinchu, and then Dave would show the one in Japan, and I forget where it is. It's probably Tokyo, but it might not be. And then Casper would show the one in the Netherlands. We never got a chance to do that. We never did. And with this COVID thing, you know, and Casper's not traveling now because it'd be easy for me. In time when I used to I was there in Hsinchu today. I see the train station all the time. But if you turn around from where this is, from where my back is pointing when I took this picture, you turn around, there's another one, like kitty corner down the street. And it also is a historical site. It's not open yet, but when it's open, I'm going to go in it. And there's a lot of that stuff. In fact, downtown Hsinchu City, the government buildings are Japanese. And you know, you look at them and you think you're going nuts. You go, what? That's a Japanese building, and you know, of course, if you're with expats who may not know, they're like, no, it's a Chinese building. No, absolutely not. It has their own look, and even the Buddhist temples have their own look because they largely follow, from what I can tell them, and in my understanding, they largely follow the Japanese models. Now, where is this place? I made a short little handheld video. It's kind of shaky. You guys know because I like my gimbal, but I didn't bring it. I'm going to do next week, I'm going to do a late night where I'm going to end up here. But I'm going to start at Win-Win's and show you some of the construction that they're doing. And we're going to walk, and you'll be able to see where this place is because I want you to know. But what I did was I stood over there between Win-Win's and the barbecue place. Because, you know, Win-Win's has that big window, right? And then the barbecue place was next to it, and it kind of wrapped around, you know, that had that like that. You guys have seen that big sort of translucent plastic kind of wind screen. It's like a Venetian blind, right? So let me just show you the video, and you'll see what I mean. And I'm talking in the video, but this is what it looks like. So here we go. Okay, that thing right there is the back corner of the barbecue place. Okay, I think you kind of recognize that place across the street. So it's just down this road, right there. That's the new barbecue place. He's setting it up now. Okay, so I hope you guys understood what that is. And so there it is right there, so you recognize that. So yeah, we're very, very close to where we were. It's good for me because it's just a bike ride away, like 30 seconds. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I've got my home studio in the upstairs in the top floor of my home, and I have been considering moving it out of the house a little bit just to make a little more room in our house because this does take up a lot of room. And it's divided into two sections. I have the studio section in one part, and I have the exercise room in the other part. And I would like to kind of I'm thinking about moving the studio out so I can specialize a little more on the studio and develop, because it's been a hobby, and I think I want to develop it more as a business. So I just want to say that I am considering this, and I had to do a lot more discussion with my wife because we have to agree on these things. But there is a place over here, and it's actually quite nice. I'm not going to show it to you, but it would. I mean, with proper room treatment, it would be good. Now, Wuxiang Huasen. Wuxiang is a type of flavor in China. This means 5, and the 5, the Xiang is is aromatics. So these are kind of these are a type of peanuts. So, hey, how you doing? Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. We think that it might be. We might think it was. From the railroad. I'm going to try to say. We think it's from the railroad employees. So, hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, always glad to hear good news. All right, so now the other place over here is has the Wuxiang kind of like the peanuts too, right? But these guys are, what they are is characteristically they've got the skin, the red skins on them, and they peel off really easy. And there's some kind, I don't know what it is. There's some kind of treatment in the roasting, and I don't know what to tell you. But these are really, really good. So yeah. Well, I don't have, I'm trying to think. Right now, currently in my live studio here, I don't have any more of those Japanese buildings, but I definitely can get you a shot of the Hsinchu train station. But if you go to let's do this. If you type it like this, Hsinchu. If you type that and search on Wikipedia, Sinju railway station, then you'll get pictures of that railway station. And Wikipedia has a really good article, and it mentions what I said before about the designer who did the Netherlands and the Japanese one. No, not spicy in terms of hot pepper. It is a spice, but Bruce, if you've never had wushang, you can't describe it. It's definitely Asian. Now this is a work of wasabi, and these are peanuts. These are my all-time favorites. You guys know me, I'm a big flavor guy, and I like to have a very well-developed palate for flavors. And I like to mix stuff. And so these guys are actually green. And this is a lot like mustard, but more intense. And there's one thing about wasabi that many people might not know. They call it wasabi root, but it's not really a root. They use a plant part. But I'm going to tell you this. Part of the Japanese colonization of Taiwan involved bringing their beloved wasabi plants to Taiwan. They planted it up on Alisan in the mountains. And they're growing wild up there, man. And it turns out that Taiwan has grown some of the best wasabi in the world. And some of the best wasabi there is comes from Taiwan. And so now, because of development, and this often happens by other nations that come here, we have whole mountains now growing coffee. And it has, over time, adapted to Taiwan and become actually a Taiwan variant. There is Taiwan coffee. There's Taiwan wasabi. And I've had Taiwan coffee. And I will tell you, I think it's really up there. I gotta get Kenrod some of that. When I was in Indonesia, I went to a place, and actually I was going to a congregation meeting. It was behind where we were meeting. I had some time to kill. I took my family, and the Indonesian girl spoke Chinese, which was very convenient for us. She spoke English pretty well too, though. Went to a place called Golden Rabbits Coffee. Now, if you think Golden Rabbits Coffee, you're going to think, no, what kind of a place is that? It's a really good place. I got, I think it was 8 bags. And that Indonesian coffee was the best coffee that I have ever had. I made some iced coffee with that, a little extra strong, you know, because you're gonna put it over ice. And I foamed some milk with a little bit of Sri Lankan cinnamon in the foamer. I foamed it cold, and I got to tell you, that coffee was off the charts. It was just so good. Of course, I was up for 3 days, but what happened? Taiwan coffee, in my opinion, is on par with that kind of flavor, but it doesn't have quite the kick. I gotta get, now I think about it, I gotta get some of that for Ken Rock. Now they're going to town here, moving these tables and stuff. They're putting it was very, very dark roast. It is. Oh, that, the other thing too. This may seem dumb. See, I'm a tea guy, and I'll get back to tea in a second, okay? My knowledge of coffee is very secondary and somewhat superficial, but because I have a well-developed sense of flavor and have worked with a lot of chefs and some really great chefs and learned how to, discern these flavors, I can appreciate coffee even though I don't know a whole lot about it, right? But that Golden Rabbit's coffee was dark, but it was pea berry coffee. She kept talking about female and male coffee beans. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's about the shape of the bean. And so she said the male coffee, the pea berry is better. I said, okay. So she gave me a shot of the pea berry, and I was like, whoa, man, this is like, are you kidding me? I said, can you put this over ice with a shot of milk in it? She said, yeah. I came back. I thought, oh, it was so good. Tea, I wanted to go like this. Put a little under here to smell it all the rest of the day. It was incredible. Oh. So I bought these bags, and I'm gave away some friends of mine, and it's like gone like that. Wish I had more, but it's worth it. I got to go back. But I think I can order it online. There's a place in the big city mall. It's called the Coffee Lovers Planet, and they have Indonesian coffee, but they also have Taiwan coffee. So I really think that I'm going to get some of that. I really should send that to Ken. So it looks like they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. Let me show you what that. It is, man. Yeah, see, they're putting the tables up. So, they also, in the back, behind the restroom, a kitchen. And the kitchen itself, they're putting a new range hood on it. They're putting in new burners. So I think they're actually, it's my opinion that they're actually going to become like a full-service traditional Taiwanese restaurant. But if you ask me, this looks like a new place for me to come and do some experiments. 'Cause I got some bootsy sauce. That's boss here, right? I showed him the bootsy sauce, and he put it on some stuff for me. And he likes it a lot. So maybe I'll, I don't know, maybe I'll inject a little cash in this place and get some bootsy barbecue going. Who knows? There's so many opportunities. In Taiwan, it's so easy. It's a barbecue sauce that was invented by a friend of mine, Danny Brown, back in the States. Well, actually, let me back up. It wasn't invented by him. It was inherited by him when his father, Richard Brown, died. And so, sauce is over 80 years old. I got to read this. Frank says, Swampscott, okay. Oh, really? Okay. Wow. Really? Yeah. 4 minutes. I use a coffee press too, and I usually let it sit for 10 minutes. You gotta stir it a little bit. But I like my coffee so strong that you might mistake it for motor oil and put it in the engine. That's how I like it. But the French press and cowboy coffee. Now, cowboy coffee, when I used to go camping, it was kind of a rule. We kept an old-fashioned, those blue porcelain percolators, that had been around for like 150 years. We used to just keep one of those on the fire all the time. I've had cowboy coffee steak, where you take a nice steak and you lightly oil it just so it sticks, and you dip it in some coffee grounds, and you charcoal or you wood wood charcoal or you know, real wood, cook it and grill it over real wood. And I tried that once. And I like the flavor, put a little, you know, coarsely ground salt in. I like the flavor, frank, but I gotta tell you, man, I was up all night. It was at 4 o'clock in the morning, man. I was like, you know, doing laps and stuff because I ate the coffee grounds on the steak. That was bad. Now I feel bad, I'm gonna tell you why. Boss here. He's pushing 70 years old. He's had a back injury for like 20 years. And he's got that back brace, I think you saw, with the aluminum struts on it. And he won't let me help him. Over 4 minutes makes it bitter. Wow. Okay, so they're saying pour the water, you know, into the French press, stir it up to, you know, to get it all uniformly wet and brewed, but only 4 minutes. And then you gotta squish it, you know, and get it all out. That's what you're saying? Okay. Well, in about 10 hours from now, we'll be making some. We have over here a really great Southeast Asian store with Vietnam coffee. And over the years, I made a number of you know, Vietnam coffees, but I don't do it like, I mean, I have the little, you know, I don't know what they call it. The little aluminum thing with the, you know, the tamper, and you know, you lock it down and stuff, and it has a little cover, it fits over the cup. I don't know what they call that. I don't speak Vietnamese, but I have that. It's okay. This takes like 15 minutes, you know, for the coffee to drip through this thing. It's like that much coffee. It's like, I take the Vietnam coffee itself, super finely ground. It actually has butter in it. I don't think many people know that. That's what gives Vietnam coffee its flavor, is the butter fat. And I'll use a regular, you know, conical paper filter, but that really super fine Vietnam coffee, yeah, it is very savory, and boy, it clogs that filter up. So yeah, that's true. I must admit, I got lazy. Oh yeah, oh boy, Bruce, you're so right about that. Coconut oil, and that's good for diabetes too. Hey Ken, how you doing? We're talking about coffee. Sorry, man. We if I'd known you were coming in, we would have delayed the coffee discussion. But Bruce, you know what else too, man? Have you ever used coconut milk instead of like cream or milk? Coconut milk in coffee. Oh yeah. And all those coconut products are anti-diabetic, man. They're really good for lowering blood glucose because I don't take any sugar at all. Oh yeah. Butter coffee. See, yeah. The Vietnamese, they got that part right. But it's because the French taught them. Their language is based on the French alphabet. See, Vietnamese is like Korean. Before they developed their own writing system, they used Chinese. They just spoke the language where they spoke it, but they wrote it in Chinese. Really? You mean with you like it with hoodoos? You mean you take your coffee with coconut milk? Woo-hoo! All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk over here, and I don't want you guys to laugh because I've been depressed. I put on about 10 kilograms. Ugh. appreciate it. I lost. I have to admit, this is a bad couple of months for me with depression. Nothing I can do about it. These are the result of things that happened to me many years ago. And when I get depressed, it's a really bad thing. Is that complex carbohydrates make us feel better? Oh, I know I shouldn't eat a bag of donuts, but my oh my, I feel so much better after that. And then your ears ring from all the insulin. But yeah, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm going back on another fast. You know, the thing is, people tell you that fasting doesn't work because you always put the weight back on. Well, I kept it off for 3 years because I changed my lifestyle. Fasting doesn't work if you don't change how you eat, and I did. But yeah, in particular around, hey, Mike, how you doing? Finally, you get to see us live. Particularly around my birthday, I get very depressed because of a couple of things. Brad Delp, of course, you guys know, committed suicide. And so. Hey, Coco, fist bump to you. Nice to see you again. And Coco, I know you just joined us. Unless you've been lurking like you do sometimes. We're at the new barbecue place. He's moving because Win-Win's is doing the reconstruction, and so let me just show this real quick. Again, Win-Win's the barbecue place on the outside looks like this now. Oh, sorry, wrong. The barbecue place looks like this now, and over there on the left where that pot is. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. You're my biggest fan, man. Over where that pot is on the wall, that's where that table was they used to scope from all the time. And the inside looks like this. They took the bar out. There's a pile of insulation there. We're going to make some soundproof rooms. That's the insulation. We're going to make some soundproof rooms, you know, for the karaoke. What I like about this place is, what I'm going to like about this place, I'm going to whisper, no karaoke and no karaoke girls. A couple of months ago, I was over there. And as I was walking into the place, some 20-something Vietnam karaoke girl grabbed my butt. I said, would you grab your grandfather's butt? Your father know you did that? Your father know you're grabbing grandpa's butt? Man. Yeah, it is. And let me do this on the rear. So that's the cooler. That's the grill, and that's the lead fryer. Now they're gonna hook that up to there, okay? Because there's a motor up there. And then, of course, there's the air conditioner. Put the tables in. There's the cooler where I got the beer. And then over here, they're gonna do breakfast. They got some big bats there. They're gonna put like soup in there. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Gonna put soup in there. They're gonna do the banh mi, which is the yeah. Well, that's why I did it. Exactly. What counts? What matters? Food only. Food and some beer. But me, I'm gonna still bring rum and scotch because I like scotch. Now I know me, I don't drink every day. I drink a certain number of days a week. And sometimes I feel like just like cleaning out and not drinking at all for a week or more. Oops. I recommend that. Because the thing is you can develop a dependence. Now, you don't have to be an alcoholic, and you don't have to drink too much, but you can still develop the dependence on it. It's not good to be dependent on things like that. Coco, speaking of food, What on earth have you been cooking lately? Let me guess. Mussels with jambalaya, cracked crab, flat iron steak, marinated ribs, and I'm moving to North Carolina in that order. That's just a guess, but we know you. Can I see a show of hands? Everybody on this stream right now that knows Coco and knows what Coco does, like in the kitchen. And the second thing is, for those of you who have seen Coco's kitchen, if I had to have an emergency, medical, if I had to have an emergency medical procedure like an emergency appendectomy, I want it on the island in Coco's kitchen, because there isn't any other place, within 1,000 miles that's cleaner than that kitchen. Her kitchen, yeah, I'm funny, but I'm right. Everybody knows. See? You have no idea the influence that you have. Coco's kitchen looks like a movie set. It is just spotlessly white and bright, and the lighting is perfect. There's like no hot spots, because like when there's walls that are white, or a person's shirt or oil on their skin, it could burn out or something. But she shows shots of the kitchen that's like, it's lit like a movie studio, and you figure, they don't do anything in that kitchen, it's just for looks. No, she cooks everything there. So I don't know how they serve beer at Black Rock. I think you're gonna have to enlighten me on that. So yes, exactly. Oh yeah. But it's because, see, like, okay, so like, if you go in my studio, right, it's a working studio, okay? Because like, there's my stands knocked over. There's like paper crumpled up on the floor. There's cables jumbled up. There's tissues and stuff. Track sheets and, right, so. Right. But the thing is, I imagine, from what I've seen, the number of videos that I've seen from you, Coco, I imagine that you probably spend about an equal amount of time cleaning as you do cooking. Yeah, so that's a big job. And for those of you who don't have the pleasure, I should do a show just on the photos that Coco's posted in the late night group. Right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Oh, I see. Nah. Well, it's not my restaurant, but no, this is a for-profit place. But still, the prices are cheap. Most of the dishes here on this menu are between $3, or it's actually between $1 and $5 US. So this is a place that if you have a limited amount of money, if you're on a fixed income like a retiree, so Social Security, I'll tell you what, like if you had like let's say a standard Social Security check of, just say $1,500 US, you can live like a king here. You really can, because that's like 50,000 NT dollars a month. but the average salary is about 35,000 NT dollars a month. And if you make 35,000 NT dollars a month, you can afford to have a baby and raise it. If you have 50,000 NT dollars a month, you're only going to spend about a third of that or a quarter of that, and you'll just be banking it up, and you know, by the end of the year you'll have $1 million. And I mean, seriously. And this place beats Thailand by a mile if you're not trying to hook up with somebody. Yeah. The other alternative to that, Mike, wow. The alternative to that is if I use the chat bot and can I do this? It would. Yeah, definitely would. I don't think I can turn easily without, let me see something. No. Okay. I cannot turn the burned comments off at the same time. I can only put the chat, like the chat widget on. And, yeah. Anyway. See, the thing is, right, is I don't like the chat widget for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. It's not scrollable like this. And it doesn't stay on the screen. The chat widget disappears. And the other thing is that, like, with these, okay, actually what I need to do, because I didn't do this yet, is I need to add Coco as a moderator, so I can do that right from here, see? All right, let's do this. Let's see if we can kind of go like that. That's okay, I think. There was a diner in Lynn, and not a diner, I forget what it was. So there's a place in Salem called Leslie's Retreat, and there's another place in Lynn that used to go to, and it's like really cheap, but I guess those are all back. I guess those are all, you know, all gone. The other thing, though, is if you are watching on YouTube, you can just open, you can just open the YouTube chat box, you know. I mean, you have to use that to, you know, to comment anyway. But the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm simulcasting on different platforms. See, all these things here that have this little red, excuse me, icon, that is all YouTube. But if we go here and we see Hoodoos, that's Periscope. It's a different platform. Sure. All right. And you can put it over my face too. I don't care about that. So I'm really excited about this place because I like it. I like to see people make money. I like to see people succeed and do well, especially if they work hard. And this guy works hard. Remember I mentioned the back brace? Watch this. You see that back brace? You see that? He wears a back brace with aluminum struts on it. I asked him one day. He's in pain all the time. He just ignores it. Now, I've been there. I remember when I couldn't walk. And it took me, in fact, I think Frank remembers that. It took me 1.5 years to walk without a cane. I was in my mid-30s. So he's pushing 70. Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Well, Prism Live, you know, if you look in the corner, Prism Live Studio, they do a really, really good job with the, I think the API calls are getting better for YouTube, because I'm not actually using RTMP. I'm actually logged into YouTube on the Prism app. So we're using the, yeah, good. Well, here we got a good signal. So we're using, Prism's using the API for Prism. Ah, too bad. That's a good place. What I liked about it too is it kind of had a Revolutionary War kind of, even though you had a Revolutionary kind of war sort of vibe to it. It was pretty interesting. That's a place though where you could go out with your family for 20 bucks. But now for sheer food deals, okay, back in 2004, 2005, 2006, Thailand. I've been there. I've been to Thailand like 20 times. I've been all over Thailand. And in Khon Kaen, we will go there. In those days, 25 US dollars was 1,000 baht. I'm just going to be honest with you. 1,000 baht can buy you a hotel room and a companion for the night. Don't ask me how I know that. It's just, I just heard that, okay? And so 1,000 baht's a lot of money, but it's 25 bucks. And so even at the time, I wasn't earning that much money. I was working for a company as a consultant, and let's just say I got 200 bucks in my bank account. Okay, well, how much is that? 8,000 baht. On this chat burn, I can't. Oh, wait a minute. I can do this. Let me try this now. I forgot to do that. All right. Now, let's see what happens on the next chat that comes in. But see, it all went away, right? So type something and see what happens. So, for that amount of money, 200 US dollars, you could live for 6 or 8 weeks, because, you know, you're not spending on a hotel for the companion. You're going to a, you know, like a night market, street place. I remember I was in Bangkok and I got a room. It was 200 baht. Okay, that's $6, you know, and it's nice. All it was a cot and a fan. I put the fan right next to me. I put it on 10. I'd strip down to my skivvies, laid on the bed. It was it. It was great. There's a shower and everything. And so, in Khon Kaen, there was a guy who we used to call the handsome boss. Really, really nice looking gentleman. He had a streetcar. And he would make a dish. Kapow, you know, the Thai basil I talked about in the last broadcast. A rice, you know, bowl of rice inverted on the plate. And soup, 25 baht. Like 90 cents. I'm not seeing any comments. So I think that this is not working. So let me do this. Let me try to make a new chat widget and see what happens. I'm going to lock layer, and chat color are going to be like this. And let's see if let's see how this works. Is this gonna work? Yeah. See. All right. See, I think you guys have been typing, and I'm not seeing it. So if I have to, I can just squeak this on for a second. See, yeah. See, you guys said test and stuff, and I didn't see it. So let's all right. Let's try the chat widget again. Prism recently updated, and it may not be happening. I don't see it. There's 4 different styles. Let me try this one. Yeah, see, I don't see it working. I'll go back to here. Nope, not working. Oh boy. Guess I got something to report back to Jake. Sorry, Mike. To wear a dark shirt next time and just, yeah, no go. Skeeter, how are you? Sorry, I missed your comment because we're doing some tests there. Sorry, Skeeter. Wow, it's been a while. How you been doing? Yeah, I'm really sorry. And thanks, Mike. Thanks, T and Coco for doing the test. Now I'm eating the Wuxiang Huasen, and I'm eating the other Huasen, which is a wasabi. This is a Chinese word for wasabi. It means mustard. And boy, these are really good. And these are green. These are the red skin peanuts. You guys see these are just like some peanuts are kind of dark. These are like the peanut themselves is kind of the light color, and then we got the red skin on. Really good. That's good. Well, it's going to be the flower blossom season very soon. We love that. Well, there is a background. Let me try this again. I'll try one more time. There is a background. If I edit this, oh, okay, I do have style 4. Let me see. This says, did I lock the layer? I'm going to say streaming screen only and just see what happens now. So on the next, okay, let's do this. Okay, sorry if you don't mind the testing. Just give me a little test, 1, 2, 3, see what happens. This says streaming screen only, but I don't think that's a good idea, because streaming screen means that I think it means that I can't see it. So, did you see it? I don't think so. So, let's go back here, and I'm gonna edit it, and both screens, show layer. It's got to be both. It's got to be both screens, and lock layer. Text opacity is 100%. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I had the opacity. So you did see it on the streaming screen. This is confusing. Let me try this. Okay, let me hide the chat view. Okay, now this widget is here. It's right here. So I had the opacity up, which I don't know if that means transparency or what. I really don't know. No, it's got to be opacity. Opacity has to be all the way up. But it does have chat colors. I'm going to select that one, and I don't know, maybe a blue color. Is this? Oh no. Let's see what happens now. I hate it when we spend so much time on testing that we don't even get, to talk about stuff. So Kenrod, are you still there, man? Because Nicole, how are you? No, I wasn't. But when Coco, when I had it on the streaming screen, you can see it. Wow, interesting. Nicole, how in the world have you been? How's your mom doing? Wow, it's been a long time. How's things in New York? Yeah. I was going to say New York's not where I'm at. Smoke's coming out of my ears trying to remember where you're at. I think it's New York. Fist bump. Take care, T. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We've got to hear more about what's going on with you and hubby, how things are. But we need an update on the animals and stuff. All right. Mike, I'm eating this kind of flavored peanuts. We call it wushang. There's no English equivalent. And I've been eating the wasabi, so. Well, Nicole, let me tell you. You were doing the right thing. It's hard taking care of aged parents. My wife and I are facing that, with her parents. Fortunately for me, my mother was able to step up. My sister was able to step up and care for my mother because I live over here. I'm able to provide, financial support. But I want you to know how much that I admire you, Nicole, for stepping up and doing the right thing. And I'm going to be labeled as an extremist. I'm probably going to be called a racist or whatever the term that people use to describe people that they don't like. But I'm going to tell you that God appreciates it too. Ken Rod, you take care. We'll see you next time, okay, man? And I'm willing to be called whatever name there is in the book to express that sentiment, because that's just how it is. We all have to face that. But that really is a measure of a person. Yeah, it's a measure of a person, because so many young people like to. No, they're not. I'm just saying that anybody who listens to this broadcast, if I say things like that, you know how it is. People just use that as an attack. Back in the day, that term meant something. We would take it seriously. We would reflect on it and go, wow, really? Do I have a problem? Do I have to work on that? Nowadays, it's just doesn't matter. It's just an attack, so you don't even pay attention to it. They call you, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, I am, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, Mike, that's how it is. And even Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. So I don't reveal too much about myself because I don't want to invoke the hate. it happens. So let's just deliver some other stuff there. So is that a piece of glass? 这是玻璃吗？
对，玻璃。
放哪里？
要丢掉。
哦，丢掉吗？
对。
这个不用吗？
没有。
嗯。
没有用到啊。
Oh, well, it's got 2 panes of glass here, right here. So it's, right there. So what are you going to do with them? He says, you're going to throw them away. Throw them away. So you got no use for them. I'm thinking, wow, probably got some use for them. You know what I could do? You know what I could do with that glass? I could set up, Taiwan Live TV and duplicate, Wen-Wen's window. Everybody's been telling me that window, right? That you guys saw the other night. Remember that guy Kenny who put his head on my shoulder? Like, I told my wife, I said, after you guys saw that video, I went into my wife. She said, what happened? I said, I think I got married. But people were asking me about that, right? About duplicating or taking Wen-Wen's window. So it was David Osaka said I should do like a GoFundMe and I should buy that window. It's kind of like a chunk of the Titanic hull or something, put it in a museum. Because that place is famous. I was reviewing my Periscope streams back to 2015, and so many of them were from that place. So, they do glass here. Oh, it's almost all glass. Most of the restaurants here have glass. But you know something else they do, Frank? This is cool. You're gonna love this. They'll take a regular because most of these plastic bags that you buy, like I'm not talking about like the thank you for shopping here bags with the handles. I'm talking about plain flat industrial bags. Let me see. Here's one right here. It's got something in it. But I mean like a plain flat industrial bag like this, okay? No handles on it, just something like, it's actually like this, okay? And so, thank you. What they do in the night market is they will take a plate, like one of those oval plates, and they'll stick it in a bag, and they'll serve you the food on the bag. And you eat at the night market, and then they throw the bag away, and they put the plate in another bag. And boy, that's the quickest cleanup. And you know what's actually, it's actually pretty clean, because the bags, from the manufacturing process are clean. And if you really wanted to, you could spray them down. A little alcohol. Yeah, they put the food right on the bag. They would just take a bag like this, put a plate in it, and just put the food on it, and you just eat it. Of course, the bag is very closely sized, to the plate, so it's not like a big wrinkle. And you know what I'm saying? It's tight. I'm just saying it's tight. It's more like this is. They do this in the States too. They've got a publication that they put in more like this, publication, but it's kind of like, what I'm saying? It's not all wrinkly and stuff, so it's flat. So, yeah, the zookeeper. How you doing, Bernardo? Yeah, good evening, good morning. I guess it's a good afternoon for you too. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, they are. And anything that keeps them out of the ocean, I say, right? One of the other things that they did at the night market that kind of got scrutinized was they would have a bucket of sanitizer. It was a strong chemical, like germ killer, and so they would like scrape the plate and then dump it in this chemical and then rinse it off. And the health department said, no, can't do that. So. Well, Nicole, sometime, because I know that we were able to say hi to your mom before on a live stream, so sometime if you want to join us, when you're taking care of your mom, and turn the phone on, and I would definitely like to say hi to your mom. And one of the things that I would say to your mom is, Good job raising a quality human being. No, it's not. That whole thing, you know, that whole thing with the chemicals, no, it's not a good thing at all. It's not a good thing at all. So, but the bags, I mean, I went to one of the night markets again, and the guy, you know, so getting ready to plate up and in the bag of on there, and I said, wow, what a great idea. And the food isn't that hot. It doesn't melt, you know, the bag. And I guess some people might talk about the chemicals and stuff, but in this world, I mean, if you're gonna worry about all that, I got too much other stuff to worry about than a couple chemicals leaching out. Trust me, I live in Taiwan, and right across the, you know, the ocean there, we had this big country that, you know, like 1,500 missiles pointed at us, and just this past week we had a whole plethora of just dust and I got a smart watch and I have these apps on my phone, and I get, you know, every few minutes I get like a AQI, you know, alert. It's coming from China. So yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? This is cool because when I was first going to Thailand, yeah, of course, it's really funny. For those of you who don't travel outside the United States very much, and especially have never been to Asia, it is the other side of the world. I talk about this. In fact, I did an interview with Michael Turton from the Taipei Times recently, and talk about my business. And one of the things I had to learn was how to do things the Taiwan way. You mean the craziness about China? Is that what you're talking about, Nicole? How do I deal with the craziness about China? I will definitely tell you my take on that, okay? So I'm not political, but I understand politics. I understand the partisan politics of Taiwan between the KMT and the DPP. I don't take any sides, but I totally understand all of it. All right, let me tell you something right now. The CCP is never going to attack Taiwan. Never. Because we own the semiconductor space in the world. Right now, the United States has problems, right, with semiconductors. They don't have chips to make cars, right? Well, China needs chips to make weapons. And they're not going to be able to take the island without destroying at least 50% of it. They know they can't. The infrastructure, these Taiwanese people are tough. You have no idea how tough, how manly these guys are. They walk around like they're wussies. They are not. They're fearless. They're a lot better trained, and I've always suspected, after talking with people that I know who are in the know, I've always suspected, I'll probably get banned for this, I think Taiwan secretly has nukes. That's what I think. I think Taiwan has a secret nuclear weapons program because they have like 5 nuclear reactors. And they're always talking about they need a place to put the depleted uranium, so they put it in a warhead. This is saber rattling. See, you got to understand how the CCP thinks. If they show any weakness, they're dead. Because they've been telling the Chinese people, you can't think for yourself. We have to think for you. We developed our own internet with Chinese characteristics. We scrubbed it of all pornography and of all radicalism and everything. And so now you can have a nice life and you can enjoy, you know, living with your family under total control, and you'll be happy. So whenever they screw something up, you know, the netizens go nuts, and then they lock down, they throw a bunch of people in jail. So that's the kind of the bubble the CCP lives in. And if they show any weakness at all, it's bad. Like, you know, with I'm not going to say the president, the dictator, Xi Jinping, he outlawed Winnie the Pooh because they've started using it as a meme for him, right? It kind of looks like Winnie the Pooh. So they got this kind of total control. So they do a lot of saber rattling, and what you have to understand is this. Whenever you read statements by the Chinese Communist Party, they are designed for the Chinese domestic audience. The Chinese domestic audience. Matthew, fist bump to you. And that's why there's so much fallout in the rest of the world. This wolf warrior diplomacy. They get on and they tell France, engage with China, don't go. Excuse me, don't engage with Taiwan. Don't go to Taiwan. It's the wrong thing to do. And the minister, you know, the minister of France just flips them off and goes, well, you don't tell me what to do. this causes trouble with all of the other nations, but it supplicates the people at home. But you ask all these Taiwanese around here, seriously, some night if you want, I'll get my gimbal and we'll walk around and we'll just have a, are you scared of China? What do you think China's going to do? And they'll go, nah, not really. It's been going a long time. No. China needs the chips. Seriously. They're not going to do it. And the other thing that's happening too is people are finally getting wise to them. See, the whole thing about engaging with China was predicated on the flawed idea that capitalism equals freedom, and capitalistic thinking equals freedom. And I did talk about this in my interview with Michael Turton, where just because you talk to people who speak Chinese as a first language and they have a high degree of English proficiency, it doesn't mean that they think like an American person or a Western person. Take care, Frank. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. You're missing the most important part, but I understand. Take care. So, you can't assume that they have the Judeo-Christian values just because they speak English. They don't. So everybody thought that as China would get more affluent, they would get more democratic, and they didn't. They got more authoritarian because they had more money to spend on those kinds of controls. So now the world realizes, that was the wrong thing to do. So now what they're trying to do is disengage. They're trying to decouple from that regime and cut off their money supply, and it's working. And you know, you've heard about the Clean Plate initiative that Xi Jinping implemented starting last year. The Clean Plate initiative, they're running out of food. If you go to a restaurant and there's 5 guests on the restaurant, you're allowed to order 1 dish less than there are people. You can only order 4 dishes. See, in Taiwan, we have this thing like, we want to go to this really amazing, excellent restaurant that does all these dishes. So we call all our friends. We'll call like 10 friends. So we can have like 15 or 20 dishes because we want to try all the different dishes. But if I just go with me and my wife, we're going to have 3 or 4, right? That's how it is. And food waste is terrible. And I try not to do it. If I order dishes, I try to make sure that I finish them or I take them home. But they're doing it, yes, well, they're reporting it here. Go to YouTube and follow China Uncensored with Chris Chappell. China Uncensored, trust me, that it's gonna open your eyes. Chris Chappell is really, really good. And these people, they're from the United States, but they speak, read, and write Chinese, and they give you the news the way it is. And seriously, you are gonna love that. China Uncensored with Chris Chappell, and he's so funny. He's really cynical. He's hilarious. I tell you what, just be careful. Don't drink anything while you're watching Chris Chappell, because it's going to be all over your keyboard. It's going to be all over your monitor because you're going to spit it. He's hilarious. But seriously, they got the call on that. So the Clean Plate initiative and these other things that are going on shows that they're actually not as strong as everybody thinks. Yes, but he's just an expat who has some. I stopped watching him, okay? Some of the stuff that he did, I thought he did on purpose to try to get in trouble. I don't think that's right. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just how I read it. I thought he was cool at first, but he seemed like, well, see, I'm an expat, right? And, but I'm Taiwanese. That guy was never Chinese. He never tried to become Chinese. He was just a foreigner who lived. I know he left. He left because he made it impossible for him to stay there by not conforming. And I understand that he didn't want to conform, but you don't walk around in a crowded mall with a selfie stick up in the air and filming when they tell you not to film. It's on the doors. And they tell you. So he was, in my opinion, asking for it. You know, but anyway. So I'm not going to go back to China ever again. I've been there 4 times. I'm not going there again because they have the hostage diplomacy, and it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, see, some of these, I'm going to tell you, some of these foreigners do not have pure motives. Like I've said this before, you guys know this. I'm Taiwanese. This is me. I'm Taiwanese now, and I don't, I'm not fighting against these people, and I'm not doing things to try to expose corruption or make them mad at me or even get views. I mean, look at me. I got 249 followers. I'm just not gonna. You have a 10-year visa for China. You're doing better than me. I'm a business person, and I went there 4 times. Peanuts. I went there 4 times. After the second single entry visa, on the 3rd visa, they're supposed to give you multi-entry, and they didn't. And on the 4th one, they didn't. So, yeah. But I never caused any trouble. But man, oh man. So, what I really don't like, there's a guy, you see, there's 2 guys that do this. There's one guy that does it in Thailand, I know. There's one guy that does it in China. And it's like, dumb American orders food, then speaks incredibly fluent Chinese, freaks out waitress. You seen those? Well, why are they doing that? They're doing that for views. And I saw that guy, and his Chinese is good because he was raised there. Like they brought him, he grew up there when he was like 7 years old or something. He speaks some interesting dialect, and he's a really thick accent speaking Mandarin, right? Well, I wrote on that YouTube channel, I said, that was extremely rude and condescending of you to do that, to try to force. I mean, that person was being very nice and struggling to try to speak English to you and doing her best and not doing very well and probably getting stressed out about it, and then you break out in perfect Chinese and it's like you made her out to be a fool, and I'm not subscribing to you. And sometimes you've heard me get irritated with people who come in here and interrupt me and maybe say something stupid to me, but I have never ever purposely tried to make somebody feel bad or make them feel inadequate because they didn't have English skills or anything like that. So yeah, I remember you telling me that, Mike. It's a whole lot different now. It's a whole lot different. It's not even the same league. And there's a big difference, right? And so there's a guy that does it in Thailand too. He moved to Thailand when he was a young kid, and he's interchangeably fluent. He says that his English and Thai proficiency is exactly the same. So yeah, their whole channel is based on humiliating people. Great, huh? This is why people don't like Americans. She's laying in bed with her husband later at night going, honey, why do you think he did that? Why do you think he came up to me and tried to make me speak English, and he's filming me, and then he spoke Chinese like, Uncle Wu or something. It's like, come on, man. Why would you do that? Yeah. It's just, I'm good. I'm always going to have low followers because I don't do that. I'm up to 249 on YouTube. 249. Wow, almost 250. I'm a quarter of a way. 25% from being able to live stream directly from the app like I care. I'm 25% away from being able to be monetized, which I'm not going to do anyway because I don't want any control, and I don't want to make money from them. So there you go. That's just the way that it is. But hey, we talked about a lot of stuff. the average Taiwanese person is absolutely not concerned about China attacking. And all these comments that you hear are coming from the Western news outlets. And it's their interpretation of what's going on. And they figure, oh, Taiwanese must be scared, must be, upset and stuff. And no, they're not. And with each passing year, the CCP recognizes that this reunification, which basically it's not reunification because the CCP and Taiwan were never unified. Taiwan is never under control of the CCP. It's going to be an annexation. The reunification, as they're calling it, is getting further and further apart because the youth don't want it. It does. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. And something happened a couple of weeks ago that really, really irritated me. They gave some YouTuber. Now, there's a lot of younger expats that speak Chinese even better than I do. I'm an old guy. I learned it in my older age, right? Oh wow, that's not even like the same, not even the same continent. 1988. So there's a young woman who has a YouTube channel, and she speaks in Chinese to the Taiwan audience. And the Taiwan government rewarded her with a gold card. That's a type of permanent residency here for promoting Taiwan. So if you know my Taiwan Live TV Twitter, I replied to that Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I think it was, tweet. No. And I said, would you please explain to those of us in Taiwan who do English content and have manufacturing-based businesses that bring actual revenue into Taiwan, how producing videos in Chinese for the Taiwanese market promotes Taiwan? And of course, I didn't get an answer. If you look at Taiwan Live TV, look at Twitter, look at Taiwan Live, what's my hook? Introducing Taiwan with live streaming broadcasts since 2016. Now, I don't want anything from the Taiwan government, but I don't want the Taiwan government to sponsor people for the wrong reason. Yeah, exactly. And just like Xiaofei and these other guys, they travel all around Taiwan, and they got, I mean, he puts out a video, and seriously, 10 hours later, he's got 450,000 views. But it's all edited content. And he's going around, he's showing amazing things, but basically what it is white guys under 30 going, ooh, look how cool that is. And they don't really speak Chinese that well, but they spend a lot of time on Google doing translations, so they got, English and Chinese subtitles, and I think what a lot of Taiwanese are doing is, I think they're using that to learn English. Seriously. Because some of the guys that I hear on that channel are speaking Chinese, and I can't understand them because their tones are non-existent. Their tones are all off, so I can't. This is another problem. Sometimes foreigners talk to me, I can't understand them because their tones are just, they're crap, right? So, anyway. I may have a lot of influence, Mike, but it's on a very small range of people. Ooh, there's only a small amount of people under my control. So anyway, yeah, yeah, that's okay. I mean, I know the basics of conversational Chinese. I can get around okay. But I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I have a number of excuse me. I have a number of Taiwanese followers, of course, and they don't watch me because I talk to everybody in Chinese, and you don't. Sometimes I scope in Chinese. I know there's lots of Taiwanese watching, and I'll go back and forth, but not very often. I have thought about maybe doing all Chinese scopes, but I just don't think it would, You know, I don't know what it would. I don't know what it would accomplish actually, because I'm trying to show people outside of Taiwan what Taiwan's like, you know, and so the interaction that I have is in order to do that. Like, you know, you heard me talking to the boss about stuff about the glass, things like that. It's not just like, you know, showing off. But some of these ones that you see, right? Yeah, maybe. Some of these, I'm telling you though, you guys have seen this. Some of these channels are like, ooh, look at me, I can speak Chinese. Wow, look at this, and they spend the whole time blah 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 with the subtitles, and you go, okay, yeah, okay, that's interesting and stuff, but it's not really like they're trying to. The only thing they're promoting is themselves and their channel. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the only thing they're promoting. You know, and so there are a number of those. It's amazing. Fun with Lewis was another one, and then Lewis got in an accident. Somebody with a motorcycle, and he sat in the car like a 6-year-old girl and cowered. And I told him so. And I unfollowed him because he just was unmanly about having an accident. He didn't even get out of the car to see if the person was okay. So I realized, I said, you're nothing but just a rich, moronic kid traveling the world, and you don't have enough common sense or human decency to get out of the car and check whether this motorcyclist was hurt. Unsubscribed. I wish I could have reached through there and went bam, you know. So yeah. Well, thanks, Mike. Oh, by the way, Mike, you know, I got your message on the last live stream, and I haven't replied. I'm sorry. I appreciate it, but I haven't replied. I was just yeah, no excuse. But this is weird, man. My smartwatch went into some kind of mode where it thinks I'm running. Ugh, anyway, to go back and fix that. I don't know why. But yeah, the thing about, you know, trying to, you really got to know what you want to do, and you got to know what your audience is. And from the very beginning, I knew that my audience was not Taiwanese, and I wasn't trying to go for a Taiwanese audience. It's not that I have anything against Taiwanese people. I'm trying to introduce Taiwan to people outside, you know. But I do have some loyal Taiwanese followers, and that's cool. And I know that they watch me because they get a kick out of the interaction, like these people over here and Win-Wins and others that come around, and especially like, you know, like the guy Kenny last week. I mean, the last stream, did you see him? I mean, he's put his head on my shoulders. So it's like, you know, I told my wife I think I got married. I mean, the guy was like, you just met him, and he's got his head on my shoulder talking to me, looking at me like this. I'm like, holy cow. He's either drunk or in love, and either one I just want nothing to do with. But so people do like that kind of interaction. But anyway, so I did what I did from the beginning without any view towards compensation from the Taiwanese government. But yeah, I know it's a shoulder pal. You remember seeing that, right? So I can do a Q&A anytime. We could do a Q&A right now. I don't care. I got time. I'm gonna have to get one more. I think I need one more bottle of beer though. But well, yeah, no Q&As are good. But I don't know. I never did what I did for awards either. When I worked in a record business, I didn't do what I did to try to make do awards. Hey Rob, this bump to you. I don't do anything that I do to try to do awards or anything. I do things for two reasons: fun and money. And if you can make money and have fun at the same time, that's great. But a lot of times they're separate. And so I didn't expect that anybody would, like the time. Huh? 吃什么？吃饭。我现在不吃晚上。很像哦，不要谢谢我不要谢谢。还没吃晚上。不是我，谢谢。You know what? She's invited me to sit down and eat dinner. Wow, and you know what? She's cooking stuff, and it just smells great. Just 真的很香哦。这样你要吃吗？哎，我要看看，可以拍照吗？ Okay, listen to this. She just invited me to dinner. I declined because I've already eaten this. It's so polite of them. They just cook something. It smells great. This. Watch this. I'm going to show you this. Okay, there you go. We are gay. Oh, no. 不是. 很特别的. Now look at this. This is great. That's the broccoli. I mean, look at that. Come on, folks. That's the broccoli. And over here, this is, what is that? Is that dogan? Yeah, that looks like dogan. You know, the dried. And no, that's some chicken or duck meat. Look at that. Yeah, I know. And this over here, look at this. This is what I smelled. This is Taiwan clams and basil. Look at that. Holy cow. This is the one that I smelled. This is amazing. This is really amazing. So, all right. I know I don't have my gimbal, but I have my selfie stick and I'm using it like a gimbal. It does kind of, sort of stabilize stuff. So, wow. 不要谢谢，很香哦，他们很喜欢啊。Okay. So anyway, all right, let me do this because it's late at night here, and they really actually are going out of their way for me. And I got to tell you something. I know what the boss did. He took a shower. He's in his skivvies over there. I didn't want to show that. So got to give these people the respect, you know. But that was so nice of her to invite me. You know, they think a lot of me because sometimes I go out of the house and I come down here and I don't even have any money, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? They're like, be quiet. They tell me, be quiet, just get whatever you want. And you know, a couple days later, I come down and pay them. So, but they're a nice couple. She's actually Vietnamese, and she works really, really hard. I can tell, you know, they're a nice couple. He's a very good husband. The way he talks to his wife, and I can tell that he really, really loves her a lot. And when she addresses him, she has so much respect for him. It's amazing. So. You want to speak about my voice? Oh, sorry. Let me do this. I'll go back this way. Okay. Mike, I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to get on the boss's skivvies. Let me just give this. Okay. So, Mike, if I put the comments like that, is that okay? It's better. I like that. But earlier we were talking about, Nicole, we're talking about the amount of food and how we invite, you know, extra friends to come down, right? Because we want more dishes, so yeah. But it's common, like even in my house, just my wife Phoenix and I, my wife will cook 4 or maybe 5 dishes, so. Hey bud, how you doing? She's gonna move next door. So what I'll do is I'll set that all up. And I can't. What I've been trying, Rob, before you were here, I don't know why it's not working. If I do this and I take off the chat view and I put the chat box on, it doesn't seem to be working. See, if you guys type something now, you type test, it doesn't seem to be working. So the only thing I can think of that I might want to do is if let me do this. Come on. I'm going to delete the selected sources. I'm going to delete all of these chat boxes, and let's see, here's another one here. Let me just delete this. I'm just going to make sure that there's none in here. Just give me a second, please. Give me 1 second. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a widget, and I'm going to go to Prism Chat Widget, both screens, and I'm going to do this. Now, let me see if this works. Okay, and I'm going to go like this and put it down here. So we're going to see if that works. I don't know if that's going to work or not. So quick, I know paint the walls. Well, I'm trying to think, you know, I could put, yeah, I'm not sure if I can do that. So this, I have the chat widget applied. It just doesn't seem to be working. System, and it's in this one, and the opacity is 100%. It's on both screens. So if I, okay, anyway, so, yeah, but I mean, I can't do that right now. I've got my silver, you know, undershirt on. I'm not going to. So I'll tell you what, you know, the boss has some black skivvies on. I can just shine them on that. How's that? That's about all I can do right now. So it is a problem sometimes, but you know, the other places that I do. Well, here, let me do this. Hold on. Let me try this. Let me try this. Now, if I do this, I think that might be better. How's that? Let me get rid of this. Okay, there we go. Now, Uncle Bud was asking about the. Okay, thanks, Skeeter. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, Skeeter. You've been quiet. You've been on the whole time. Appreciate it. This is one thing, though, guys, that I will tell you that I know. I don't have a lot of views, but I have a small group of viewers that stay for the whole broadcast. We have a great discussion. We talk about a lot of different things. Oh, you know what it was, Mike? I was looking at this hole. I said, you know what? It's dark over there, so you should do that. So, duh. Sorry it took me so long. The other thing is I wasn't expecting, see, I've always had that chat widget as a backup, and I wasn't expecting it not to work. But anyway, so we can't change font color? No, but okay, this should be okay. And Uncle Bud, it was 357 was the street number. It's going to be next door. I have to figure out what it is. It might be 359, it might be 361. I'm not sure. I'll just have to check it out. I will update that, and I will make a PDF file available. And I got to tell you something. If you guys were to send Win-Win, a new postcard, she would absolutely love that. So, hey, thanks, Skeeter. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I try. I know I'm not like the world's greatest periscoper, which is David Osaka, and quite frankly, I would like to do a lot more, but I'm a father and I have a kid in school, and I can't do that. One of the things that I really want to do, I have a trike, a three-wheeled bicycle, basically, and I want to circumnavigate Taiwan. I want to do these long trips and bring you guys along and do these amazing, long live streams. I can't do it because my family needs me, and so first things first. Now, okay, Mike has a question, because Mike, you were asking, you said you wanted to do like a Q&A, right? So let me go back here again. You said you're talking about my voice's octave range is stellar. Because speaking of that, okay, now are you? You're talking about my singing voice or speaking voice? Yeah. Because now remember, I'm quite a bit older than I was when I was doing those recordings in the 90s, but I still retain a fairly large range. There's something I'm kind of battling with, whether I should do it or not. I've got this studio, you know, and it has a lot of capability. And one of the things I do for fun is I have the multi-tracks, you know, original multi-track sessions for many famous songs. I think I've got 12 Queen songs and a number of other ones, so. That's interesting. Wow. I've never been so prolific in a bedroom before. I guess that's great. Thank you. I'm just not. That's funny. It's like you guys saw the other night when I did the test and Rob Ebner joined and he was laying in bed with the covers up. I was like, oh man. Thank you for joining us from your bedroom, Rob. I'm not accustomed to being in another man's bedroom at this hour of the morning, but thank you for joining. That kind of thing was hilarious. Those kind of things you can't plan those. It's funny. But what I was saying is for fun, I've been doing. Thank you. You maintain it by doing maintenance. That's how you do it. Let me just finish up what I was going to say real quick. I did a mix of Boston's More Than a Feeling. I took the original 21, 22 tracks, and so I did a mix. And the engineering community, with whom I've shared it, and they're raving about it in the Boston area, and they're saying that if it was scrupulous, they would replace my mix with the original. And I've been debating whether I should release it. If I were to play it on this live stream, like an earbuds, it would sound incredible because it's 24-bit. And I mastered it myself. It's aggressively loud, and it's clipped, and it would sound incredible. And it would be attributed to Tom Schultz, and he would make the money. I think it would be okay. I don't think that I would get into trouble just because I did my own my own mix on it. So, yeah, I know what you mean, Rob, but I thought that was pretty cool that you did that, and I appreciate that because I was looking for somebody to, to stream from and to stream with, to come in and that I could see, their video from them, in the stream. It was really cool. I give you a lot of credit for doing that. That was funny. That was hilarious. Did you go back and look at the playback? By the way, what I discovered was, after watching the playback, was that whoever's talking and whoever's mic is hot, they become prominent on the screen. It's just kind of like speaker view in Zoom, and using the mobile app. I don't know how it is using the PC app. So. Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, so. Yeah, but my life has never been like that, Nicole. But it was one time taken over by music. When I was in the big time back years ago. So, all right. So, how to maintain the voice. There was a book years ago by a guy named David Blair McCloskey called Your Voice at Its Best. He was the one that had rehabilitated President John F. Kennedy's voice after the PT-109 incident, of course, on fire, boat sinking, screaming. It was cut in half, by a Japanese warship. Like anything else with the human body, the best way to rehabilitate it is to use it normally. If you want to rehabilitate, from an injury, then you just maybe might want to use some small weights and just, do range of motion normally. That's how it works. With the voice, that's how you want to do. I will tell you a story that happened to me when I was 25 years old. I could scream like Edgar Winter and Ian Gillan put together. If you listen to "Gotta Keep Dancing," probably my biggest song, I scream "Gotta Keep Dancing" at the end. It's high G and A, and I even scream during the lead solo up to high C. That's all. That's almost off the guitar scale. Because when I was young, I had a 4.5 octave range. Big deal. It's no big deal. It's just DNA, right? So I disbanded my group, and I didn't. Yes, in the fact that my mother was a professional singer, and basically just listening to her and some tips and tricks, And then when I got older and started doing studio sessions, I would do some workouts with an actual opera singer. And it's funny because the opera singer I knew very well, and she was like incredible. And turns out she was extremely impressed with my voice and especially control, because they give you these, they do like they're doing it like da 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 da, and they make you do these really strange vowel consonant combinations. She would say like, okay, and then it's just like that. It's like it's 2 hours of that, right? And she used to always tell me that she never had any student that could actually do the pronunciation and hit all the notes, and I thought it was easy. It turns out that all this rock stuff that I've been singing is really quite difficult. So you listen to somebody like Philip Anselmo from Pantera, the acrobatics that he was doing are beyond. It's almost like the guy was an alien. Of course, the problem is, if you don't do it right, it's not sustainable. Now, with Edgar Winter, a lot of stuff he did was in the back of the throat, we call that, where you would go like this. You would get this kind of a, okay, I'm talking about like a gravelly sound. So pretty soon you're going, but you're not really screaming. So he would be like, talking about tobacco road. Okay, like that, right? But it's not really an actual out and out, okay? So you find these places in your voice and you develop them. So my personal manager, George Daniel, was a saxophone player. But he would like fool around and say, so anyway, this thing went, wah! And he would do like this incredible like wah! Scream. Just like it's like this thing made a noise. I'm like, George, do you understand what your voice is capable of doing? Like, you're just goofing around making these noises. If you like focus on them and analyze what they're doing, you could turn that into like the most incredible singing voice, and he never did it. But that's what Edgar Winter did, And I, to get that scream thing, for me, I had to always use more power. But it's really funny because like some of the old records that used to actually go like that, but they weren't really screaming; they were just going like. What matters is what does it sound like on the mic, right? So you're going, hungry for the good times, baby. And that's whoa. So it only matters, what comes out of the speakers and what you hear. Now that being said, so somewhat, if you search on her, you might find some like historicalphotos.com or something. Yeah, no. Nicole, you're laughing, but that's how it is. I mean, like, I did a gig and Eddie Cornelius jumped up on stage, and he was doing Treat Her Like a Lady, and he was just going like, and just like this guttural noises. He could have been going, yeah, baby, whatever, but it just, it's all about that. And it's a put on. Most of it's a put on. And but to answer your question, Mike, my mother's name was Mary Jane, and then Klein, same spelling, Mary Jane Klein. She's from St. Petersburg, Florida. And when I was a kid, she would go to a show like Peggy Lee, for example, come into town, and Peggy Lee would call my mother out and make her stand up. They put the spotlight on her stage. She's a local singer, in the Tampa Bay area and stuff. She used to sing at the Airport Motel, and she used to sing at a place called Tierra Verde, which is where I'm dating myself, but back in the 60s, Guy Lombardo did Guy Lombardo was famous for a saxophone orchestra, and he did, a New Year's Eve show from Tierra Verde, which is a little bit further south towards Naples on the west coast of Florida. So anyway, that's what my mom was. That and $5 will get you a latte at Starbucks. But getting back to the voice thing, if you can find that spot that you want to sing in, and it's all about squeeze and breath control. And so some of the things that sound like they're really, really hard to do are not quite as hard to do. Brad Delp was really, really good at that, the singer for Boston, because he would put a lot of squeeze in the voice, and that makes it sound really bright. So if you think about some of the things he used to do, like if Don't Look Back, don't look back, a new day's breaking, it's been so long since I felt this way. That's not very loud. It's not like I'm singing, recitator. It's not like you have to sing opera differently than rock, right? So some of the stuff would be almost nasal. Like you think about that song, like I was talking about, Don't Look Back. I can't see. It'd be right. It's been so long since I realized. Really soft, but squeeze. Much too strong not to compromise. And also, gotta have vibrato. And so, just sitting and playing guitar and playing rock, you don't necessarily have to sing all that loud. It just depends on how much air it takes to produce the notes for your voice. And that's what you have to find out. Because the problem is, you got to sing all night. It's just like boxing. You can't go out there and go nuts on the first round, because by the fifth round, you're going to be dead. Yeah, I'm probably going to get a copyright strike for that, right? So you've got to pace yourself, And when you design sets for playing, you have to the first 3 songs. I mean, you have to come out strong. But the first 3 songs, generally speaking, are the ones that you have to balance. The impact. Like, you don't want to start out with a ballad or a waltz. You've got to come out like Boston shows. They always used to start with rock and roll band, right? Which is kind of hard because it did have some pretty high stuff in it. But Brad didn't always sing this stuff like directly, like on the record. He would hold back a little bit, and then later in the show, as you get warmed up. But warming up is very important. Let me tell you a couple things that you need to do. The biggest problem with the voice is tension. Now, I'm going to show you an exercise right now because we got video. Do this exercise with me, but absolutely do not make any noise with your voice. Do not make any sound coming from the larynx at all, because it will hurt. Don't do it. The larynx floats. Look at my old man wrinkly neck. The larynx floats on a network of muscles. It's not connected to any bones. They are the extrinsic muscle groups and the intrinsic muscle groups. Now, you are going to be manipulating the extrinsic, the outer muscle groups. And what I want you to do is do this. And this is going to gross you out. You need to try this, though, just once. Take your larynx and take your fingers and very gently rock it like this. Watch. Just go like this. Just do this. I know, it looks like a turtle. You will feel pops and clicks. And if your mouth is open, which I open my mouth because I want to relax this whole area, you're going to, listen, when you're warming up, you're going to look stupid. Do it in your dressing room, okay, where nobody can see you. You look like an idiot. Don't worry about it. But do this. Do it with me. And tell me if you feel the clicks. Check this out. I can even hear the clicks. Whenever you're hoarse, you have so-called laryngitis. Whenever you're hoarse, do that. Yeah, but I never had that problem because I was well trained enough to pace myself. But I do want to tell you about the one injury I had and why I had it. I did have a vocal injury when I was 25. I'm working back to that. The second thing you want to do is take your thumbs and go from here to here, and you want to go like this. You want to push forward, and the idea, this may even hurt. You may even feel like a little pain because it's tight. It's going to be bumpy and clicky. Most of the singers that you see, this whole area is like professional singers. Really, you know, this whole area is like flopping around. Okay. So do this, and you might want to go up and down a little bit, and like. Eventually you can get wider and wider, and if you can get rid of those pops and clicks, then you've got no more tension. The other thing you can do, and this is really weird, this is going to take you a while to get. I always put my fingers in my mouth because I don't want to bang my teeth together. But in the book that David Blair McCloskey wrote, you actually pull your jaw up and down. And the problem is you fight it. Your jaw wants to fight it. But if you relax, all of a sudden it'll go floppy and it'll bam, and you're like, whoa, because you relaxed it. And that's why I put my fingers in my mouth, because the first time I did it, I'm like this, and I smacked my teeth together. I'm like, oh. So I go like this. Towards the end, I was banging the top of my teeth because my jaw got nice and loose all through here. So now that you've warmed up a little bit and you have cleared this area, now it's time to start using the voice to warm up. And what the opera singer taught me was that you do a sigh. You just go, oh. Now, did you hear that high note that I just sang? Oh. Do you realize how high that is? Oh. It's like Mariah Carey. So that means my voice can make that sound. I just need to develop it. So do the other way. Okay, and there's a little stop. Or sometimes you might have a skip. It might go, So you find the skip and you work on that. So now watch this. That's where I got a problem. So watch what I'm going to do. Okay, now I can hit that and see if we can go higher. Nope, it's stuck there. Let's go the other way. Okay, now watch. I'm not relaxed enough. I'm on camera. That was continuous, no break. See that? Tension, very important. But that also means that I should be able to go and make a sound there. And so if I really concentrate and don't push it to where it breaks, I should, after a few minutes, hours, work that note to where it becomes a strong, full-voiced note. And that's how you do it. That's how you maintain your range. It's really not that difficult, it's just mechanical engineering. So that was about $500 for the billable hours right there, guys. And I know it looks stupid when you're doing this stuff and I don't care because I can sing. So there's another thing that you get into that I talked about with the vocal teacher. You know, certain kinds of gravel and nastier sound. You know, and she says, I know. She's talking to me. She says, I know because I yell at my kids and I have this voice that's like, you know, Mary, stop that. And that's like, her voice goes to that, you know, to that sound, and it doesn't hurt. And so when we used to sing a lot of soul music and kind of Motown sounds, you know, that we used to do in the 70s, there was a gravelly kind of sound that we would have to do night after night. Because like if you're going to sing like a song like Soul Man and, you know, coming to you on a dusty road, and you have to be able to do that without it, you know, breaking your voice. And it's a type of squeeze. It's a type of squeeze. And then, of course, then you're doing that, wow, and nobody knows that you're just going, just clearing your throat. Because all that matters is what comes out of the microphone. And radio voice is a whole nother level of stuff. Because radio voice is designed to be intelligible through the audio processing of the radio station, and that's why you overemphasize consonants. My goodness, I'm keeping these people up. It's like they're too polite to tell me to leave. It's like 20 minutes until 1 a.m. and I've been on the air for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Boss man took a shower. He was in his skivvies. They've eaten dinner. They disappeared in the back. They're probably waiting for me to leave. I should probably wrap this up. Thanks so much. This was fun, man. I don't get a chance to talk about this too much. I'm going to have some new stuff to share with you guys, okay? No, thank you so much. Motown means what to me? Well, do you really know what Motown was or Motown is? Motown was the world's first and best star factory. Motown, there's never been anything like it before or after. Nothing beats Motown. Motown from the very beginning was not just a record company, but it was a concept of a way to train and produce gentlemen and lady entertainers, performers, real entertainers of the highest caliber. There's never been, in my opinion, a caliber of entertainment or entertainers higher than Motown. And if you don't believe me, I got 2 words for you. Smokey Robinson. Who succeeded him? Who? Tell me. It's a scientific impossibility because nobody ever has. Of course, there have been some other great, incredible, amazing artists like Stevie Wonder, right down to Ellis Hall, who I know and have worked with. But when you look at the whole, I mean, you look at the Four Tops and the Supremes and the whole roster of Motown, the level of quality that came out of the record company and the studios, I mean, they trained these people how to sing, they trained them how to dance, they had a whole team of professional writers, they had engineers in their own studios, and it's just, yeah, I mean, there's never been anything like it. To me, Motown was the pinnacle, and everything else has been downhill ever since then. No, they don't, man. No. Fortunately, I'm old enough to have worked with some people from that era, you know. Of course, you know, being on stage with Eddie Cornelius was really amazing. And then, of course, I knew Bill Pinkney from the original Drifters, and you know, I've been on stage with all those guys. You know, the Coasters, the Embers, the Occasions, all those guys. You know, from just the 50s and the 60s. Knew them all, man. It was amazing. I learned so much. Like, I work with a showman. They were my age, you know, back then, and they were extremely professional. And that, you know, and to me, after meeting Todd Rundgren and seeing him in this last show, I'm convinced that Todd Rundgren is probably the most professional entertainer in today's music. That's just my opinion. They want to lock up. I got to go. You guys take care. Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure. Love all you guys. Gotta go. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.